good.
All righty. So listen, thank you all for joining us today. We're super pleased to have Tad Sare, who is our program chair for our animation department, as well as Rachel Bomze, who is the program chair for fine arts. They're both amazing instructors. I know that you're going to enjoy working with this coming fall. So I'm going to just get you started. And Rachel, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and I know you're a working artist, so if you want to tell us what you're working on now, that would be great.
Okay, hold on. I was going to see if I could. Am I allowed to screen share or no? Oh,
Yes,
hold
you
on.
can.
I don't know. It's not doing it, but it might be my computer. Oh, this is going to be. I have a new computer, so. All right. Let me see if this will do it. I think I'm going to have to give up on it. So I'm Rachel Bomze. I am a painter, as Jane had mentioned, but it's sort of evolved these days. I mainly used to work in oil and acrylic paints. I work in abstraction, mainly non-objective work. And I right now, since being home in quarantine, my work has evolved into fibers and weaving. So I'm just kind of going with it in terms of making layers at this point. And my background, I grew up for, I guess, elementary through high school in Texas, which you probably wouldn't get a sense of that at all from my accent. And went to school on the East Coast in New England, in the Boston area. Loved learning about art history and painting, that I stayed for an extra 2 years for a laureate program to get my portfolio up to snuff to compete to get into graduate school. And then I made my way to Philadelphia area and received my MFA of painting at the Tyler School of Art, which is part of Temple University. So, and I've been teaching in higher ed, I think it's over 15 years at this point. So it's been a very, very long time. So.
Well, thank you so much. So Tad, would you mind telling us a little bit about your background in education as well, your teaching experience?
Sure. Hi, my here. I'm an experimental animator. I'm going to share my screen with you. I think I can do it. Let's try. And I just wanted to bring up, this is an example. This is my Instagram account. So you can see I sort of make like lots of graphite drawings and animate them, and sort of like, unlike Rachel, who is very colorful, I kind of work without color a lot. So that's just an example of things I do. Please look me up on Instagram, and also look up DCAD Animation on Instagram if you want to check out more like student work. I'm from Indiana originally. I went to Indiana University and got a BFA in painting, and then came out to Philadelphia and graduated with an MFA from the Pennsylvania Academy. And I did work kind of like what I just showed you, working with video and animation. I've been teaching at DCAD for 10 years now. Started out as an adjunct and working in foundations and animation, and now I'm running the animation department. What do you think? What else was there? What was the other question? Is that it? Did I cover it?
Yeah, I think you got it. So Randall, I'm going to hand it off to you.
So both of you kind of have the privilege of not only teaching within the foundation program, which Rachel, you oversee, but also with the students that are within your major, both fine arts and animation. So what is your teaching approach? How do you get to know your students? How do you get them to develop their voice and vision, as well as their creative and technical skills within the first 2 years of their education? And we'll start with you, Rachel.
So as a foundation student coming in for your first year, I'm very involved with the first year courses, teaching especially drawing. And I work really quickly to get the group in the class to be feel like more of a cohort, a team that's really comfortable in being together. And then I, work individually one-on-one with you in the class setting to help you improve on your drawing skills or whatever skills we're working on, whether it's composition, whether it's measuring, citing, working with the model, I back and forth between, encouraging you to learn from your peers, but also to seek out feedback from me in the classroom setting. We also do critique a lot. So getting comfortable and talking and writing about your work as well is something to help you discover who you are and what your interests are as an artist. And then if you're interested in fine arts, as you move into the second year, it's always rigorous in my mind, whether it's the first or second year of what you're doing. But in my mind, you're focusing more, for instance, on the second year, second semester on the figure. And then the final semester is still connected to observation and having a foundation in observation, but also really tapping into experimenting with materials, with subject matters, and really pushing to find your personal vision or voice.
Yes. Rachel that was a great answer. I caught something that Rachel said, that you're going to learn from your peers as well as seek out not just your instructors in class, but I mean, the entire school is crawling with faculty, and even our own staff are, working artists, so you should get comfortable talking about your artwork and seeking advice. You'd be surprised at what you don't know and what could help you, inform you with your own artwork, because I'm sure you're coming in with lots of awesome ideas that maybe you've had for 3, 4, 10 years, who knows. But instead of coming into art school with blinders on, with trying to reach one goal, I think if you open yourself up to just being experimental when you're at school and learning lots of different things. And I think a lot of it comes from not just your peers or your faculty, obviously, but your sustained independent research, which means Rachel's going to give you homework and expect you to draw for 6 hours on one piece of paper, at least 6 hours. And that should be something you look forward to, that you don't want to stop doing, that you don't feel is completely resolved when you're done with your drawing of 6 hours, that you want to keep seeking something out. I think I try really hard to make that as fun as possible, so it's accessible to you, so that you want to do it. But then I'm also trying to teach you like a good work ethic, that you need to go to work, take a step back, take a breather, go outside and play outside safely with your mask on, and then come back in and then work some more, So your homework is considered your independent research. Rachel we're going to say, here are 3 awesome artists that we're going to look at in relation to this awesome drawing assignment that you have. You should look at more of their work. And guess what? If you start Google searching, which some people say is a bad thing, if you're learning and you're like finding stuff, maybe it's not such a bad thing. But if you find the names of 10 more people that are associated with those people, my God, you're like teaching yourself. You're teaching yourself about this world that you want to be part of. And I think it goes with fine arts, painting, drawing, sculpture, and animation. No one's going to move the pencil for you. You're going to have to do all the work yourself. So I think that's a lot of it, is transitioning out of high school into college. Being an adult and being a working artist is kind of tough for a lot of people. So that's what I really tried to help with for the first 2 years.
So with both of your programs, both animation and fine arts, by the end of your second year, you graduate with such a large body of work. So we've got like the capstone project in fine arts and an animation reel for animation. These are really big projects. Can you talk a little bit about kind of how that is beneficial for prospective students?
Rachel, did you want to go first again?
Sure. So you're specifically the capstone course, or so I really feel, in getting the feedback from the students in my department who've graduated, they always come back and tell me that when they transfer, they feel more prepared than their peers who are in the same class as them their junior year, even though they didn't start at the school. So I would say that with the intense experience here of being one-on-one and small class sizes, and having this small cohort within your major to rely on, to bounce things off of other people, to even just work, late at night with in a joint studio space, and collaborate together, that all of that really solidifies, I think, very quickly for a student who's, moving on to transfer to graduate, that they have a much, I guess, more confident sense of what they're wanting to do as an artist. And it doesn't mean that they're going to stay there, right? We all evolve, we all change. But in that moment, they've built up a confidence in their practice as an artist, that this is something that they can do and pursue and be an independent learner, and start to incorporate the things that they either initially came to DCAD because of what they love about art, or what they've discovered in the interim.
So our capstone course for animation is, it's now going to be something called Animation 2, and there's aspects of character performance in there. So it's sort of like you telling a story with an original character, and it can be any medium, so there's lots of rooms, again, for experimentation. I think I've said that 3 times now, experiment, right? I'm curious, Randall, can you say the question one more time for me so I can get back on track in my mind?
Sure. So in thinking about just the sheer strength within the body of work that you're creating your second year. So with animators, for example, you create an animation reel.
Right. And I think what's important is, when there's opportunities for us to go to animation studios, and that's New York, and that's Baltimore, and it's Philadelphia, we go as a class. We go and we check these places out, and you get to talk to people in the industry, either in a commercial field or the entertainment industry, and they really say the core of it is you need to be be able to adapt, which means you have to have a large skill base. You have to understand a lot of different things, including observational drawing, which informs how you animate, obviously. So your body of work that you produce here at DCAD can show off to a potential client or employer your skill set and the possibilities. So your portfolio that you create at DCAD with everything sort of does prepare you in part, to a degree, I will say, for a job in the workforce. Now, obviously, you know that DCAD is only a 2-year program. Your competition all has 4-year degrees, but we have pathways for you to be really successful and be better than them, those other people at 4-year institutions, with like a 2 and 2. And we have schools, Micah, UArts, and Moore College of Art and Design, just to name a few. There's more. We have a whole list of places where our students go and get a 4-year degree, and then I think are really ready to enter the job market, which is what you want. You want to make money with your arts. It's what these people do. They teach. They are part of an institution. They make artwork on the side. Maybe it pays the bills. Maybe it helps pay the bills, but that's what you want to do. You're creatives, and that's what you want. So we will get you there, and that's what your portfolio will allow you to do, but just as long as you are working hard. Did I say that enough times? Work.
And say experiment one more time for us.
And be experimental. I just like
that. Thank you guys so much. I'd like to turn things over to my colleague, Wydella, who has a couple more questions for you.
Yes, so I wanted to get more into, you kind of mentioned it a little bit about like after students graduate, after the 2 years, going to another school. But what are some things that students gain from attending DCAD that they might not find at another college?
Well, I said a little bit about that earlier, that we're a small school. There's a lot of individual attention, not only from your instructors per class, but also from your advisors, and the program chairs like Tad and I are your advisors in your program areas or your majors that you're interested in. So I think that to me is a really big draw for our school in terms of building relationships and building community. And then, as I said earlier as well, because you're working so closely with your peers who are interested in the same majors or topics that you are, you really have this group of support. I could speak of the graduating class that just graduated, the fine arts majors, and they would work in the painting studio all hours together, and they were working in the dorms together, and they would end up going to galleries and museums. We would take trips not only through school, but also on their own, even going to the art store to get supplies. They were all very involved, and also on Instagram, they had their own chat and own text, group. And so they were just very, this idea of having a close-knit community, and, the idea that those are going to be your colleagues, and of support as you leave DCAD as well. A lot of them tend to go to very similar schools together, to transfer together as a support as well. And so that's been really great to see as they've grown at the other institutions as well.
All right, give me that question one more time.
So what is something that students can gain from DCAD that they can't at another school?
Right, I think Rachel sort of really hit on it with the mentoring aspect that you have with your faculty and staff. And honestly, as a freshman, you'll learn a lot from the sophomore or second year students, right? So the community that we build really is helpful there at DCAD, but as Rachel's saying, networking obviously afterwards is a huge benefit. So I think that those things speak. I think that is the biggest thing. Now, because we aren't this huge institution and we don't have this 4-year program for you. I think that you could say, well, where are the opportunities for internships and work experience within the field, which a lot of BFA programs will have. And to that I say, that's great. We will get you to an institution that we know and love and our students are successful at with a transfer, and you'll just go right into their BFA program as a junior, and that way you can take advantage of what they have as well. So I think we are small, and that is good in lots of ways for us. But we have connections to get you to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of connections, what are some places or careers that some students have gone on that you know of that are really good to mention? For some,
I wanted to see if I could share my screen again. Let's see if this is going to actually work this time.
Stop mine. Oh yeah. Okay. Good.
Hey, it's working. Okay. I don't know. I'm afraid to hit presentation here. So let's, I don't want to mess things up. Now it's working. Yeah. So maybe I won't hit presentation. So I would say for the fine arts department, the majority of the students who finish here, they are on track for transfer. That's just, in terms of the field, you really need a BFA to compete in the art world. So for instance here, I don't know, I guess I could try presentation mode. Let's see. I hope I didn't mess things up. Is it working? Yay! Okay. So I'm going to showcase just a couple. Ellen Durkin is actually an alumnus. She she went and afterwards and got her BFA and MFA in sculpture. And she currently teaches at DCAD in the Foundation and Fine Arts Department, mainly in 3D drawing and sculpture. And she's also really, exciting about her. I don't know if this will work. Let's see. She's also a professional blacksmith and has very, very exciting work in my mind. She does a ton of these runway shows as well. So in terms of her skill set, she's teaching not only at DCAD, but also doing workshops and things like that. So I would say that, it was helpful networking wise for her to be in school, continuing for her BFA. Let's see. And then Teresa Cremati is also an alumni with a degree in fine arts. And she's really making her way in the New York art scene in Brooklyn. She has a studio and is painting currently. And I guess that's all I have. I thought I had one more up here. I guess that's all I have. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, and I would say that, really the fine arts degree can allow you to work in your field. It can also allow you to work in a very creative job, really could do anything or find a job that, you want to do just to make ends meet and, allow you to have that time to be present in your studio practice. So that's really, a lot of the students tend to do that.
Right. And well, I was gonna jump on that too. Look what I opened up. So Teresa, so Rachel just talked about, even has a show here at our own Delaware Contemporary in June, and you're saying, wait a second, isn't everything closed? Yes, but they're going to put all the artwork outside and you're going to drive through it. Sounds pretty interesting.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to be the parking lot of the Delaware Contemporary, but it's cool. So you have someone who's working at a contemporary institution for art, who is exhibiting there, as well as we have former students, graduates, who immediately got part-time jobs at this place as some of their jobs are curatorial, which is kind of exciting. You get to put together some shows, but also they are on staff there as well, so they can do whatever. So there's like opportunities immediately for people after school, but I think Rachel is right in that people are on track to go to a 4-year institution, and you should take advantage of that because if you can afford it, obviously, but I think that's the reality now, is that your competition has maybe 4-year degrees. Here's another one from us in the animation program, and this
Tad,
is.
can I just say one thing about that too? Is like you guys are just hitting on something by the time you get to the end of your 2 years, especially with your capstone projects. And so that momentum is really exciting to me as a professor and as a program chair. And I that's why, often I'm encouraging, or always encouraging students, like, yes, keep going, because there's something about also networking and being around peers and new instructors and new voices in an academic setting that can really propel you forward in what you love to do in making imagery. Sorry, Tad, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's a good point. I was just going to show you the websites. It's called D'Arte Stagio. This is a 2D animation studio owned and run by 2 Americans in Tokyo. And one of them is our own alumni, and I think he's on a page here. I'm trying to see if we can find him. He's all the way back there. Oh, we just missed him. There he is. He's right there. Let me see if I can scroll through. His name's Henry Thurlow. So actually, this is something he has worked on. He works on anime, Japanese anime, in Tokyo, which is really interesting. I guess that's the only picture I can find of him there. But he's sort of like our big success story. Someone who went to DCAD, then went to Pratt, and then from there he worked in lots of animation studios in New York City, making stuff for Cartoon Network. And Adult Swim, and then went to Tokyo because that's where he wanted to end up making artwork and making animation because he loved it so much. He loved anime so much. So he's sort of like this big success story we tout as like, look, isn't this awesome? And it is. But a lot of our students will also go to, I'm just going to see if I can get there. There is a studio called, let's see, Titmouse in New York and Los Angeles and Toronto. They have studios everywhere. But they make Amazon Prime content, again, Cartoon Network, but they make lots of 2D and 3D programs. And our students have gone on to work right there. We have an artist right now named, two of them actually, Josh Howell and Miguel Diaz, who are doing that. Another great success story too is another student I have named Willow Quillen, who is sort of like the jack of all trades, master of all. She can do everything and do no wrong. She also went to Pratt's, was their valedictorian, and now is just hopping around as a freelance animator and illustrator. She makes beer bottle labels because she can draw, and she can also do 3D animation. So she's doing this virtual puppet for like, if Sare were a puppet, that, you know, like a hologram that you could see. She's working on a prototype for that with another startup company. I mean, she's just like all over the place because she's got skills. And so a lot of our students, if they push themselves in that direction with the work ethic and the idea that you're a lifelong learner, a lifelong artist, you can land these places. Oh, and the other thing is sorry to say, you have to get out of Delaware. You will have to leave Delaware. You have to be willing to move because that's where jobs are. That's my spiel.
So,
Oops.
I think at this time we want to open it up for students. Maya, Xavier. If you guys have any questions.
And you guys could put the questions in chat too.
I was going to say, don't feel like you're on the spot. You know what? We are here and happy to, follow up with you one-on-one or at another time if you want us to give you a call. I did want to just thank Rachel and Tad. I think that you really brought your majors to life. What do you think, I'm going to give you a really broad question. What do you think makes for a successful DCAD student?
One who is willing to put the work in and work hard and try a lot of new things and being open to new processes, materials, experiences even outside of what they think they want to be doing, because everything in this world can influence, or you can find a new influence. And also being really open in communication with your instructors, whether you're having an easy time with something or whether you're challenged, so that you can be successful as a student here.
Awesome. And, I really appreciate the fact that both you and Tad mentioned the commitment to the work. We know that our students that come into DCAD have a variety of high school experiences and experience in the major that they wish to pursue. So as long as you are committed to the work and experimenting and listening and doing and making, I think that what our faculty does is really helps you develop your skills, and both creative and technical, and that's what I feel is a real difference as far as what DCAD delivers to our students, besides the fact that it's kind of an amazing place. You're surrounded by other artists and designers who will get you and help you get where you want to go. So just going to open it up one last time. Anybody have any questions for Tad or Rachel, again, we're happy to follow up with you any way you wish to be contacted. So any final words from Rachel or Tad?
Well, I think Maya, it's loud. Maya turned on her webcam. You were ready to speak, Maya. Go speak.
So I heard like something about puppets, and actually it's kind of funny because I was working on a puppet painting. I sketched it out, but like I need to work on it a little bit more before I start painting it, because like the sketch is kind of bad. But yeah, I'm doing a puppet thing. And I'm actually majoring in fine arts, by the way. And you did accept my portfolio for illustration because I didn't have a lot of still life drawings in my thing, so I accepted for the illustration thing. But actually I have been painting a lot more. I recently painted an elephant for my dad for his birthday, and I've got bored, so I like painted on my closet door. And I did like a Disney theme, which I'm still not done. I have to do characters, but if you want to see it, I'll show you. But yeah, it's about it. It's kind of all I wanted to say.
I'm glad you're still working. A lot. It sounds like a lot, so that's good.
Yeah.
So.
My mom recently just bought me to paint too, so I'm kind of excited.
Have her buy you more stuff.
I mean, I need new paintbrushes. My paintbrushes are getting ruined. So every time I use them, there's like, I need like a fine tip paintbrush, and then they just, I don't know, they break. I don't know how that happens, but they broke. So, but yeah. Do you want to see the painting? I have to.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
Okay. Hold on. I gotta like.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you in the fall.
All right. So there's the Disney castle. It's kind of slanted, which I have to fix, but yeah, that's on my closet door. And that's my bathroom door because I got bored. I got permission, so it's like I'm not gonna get in trouble for it.
Super. Well, you know, that's the important thing too, is just keep making whatever is inspiring you at the time. You know, I kind of love the fact that, Rachel, you were mentioning weaving and experimenting, but you can always keep trying. And I think that's one of the best things about being an artist or designer, because you're going to spend your whole lifetime learning and doing and making.
You should make your puppet like three-dimensionally.
Yeah, it's like wooden puppet. I'm still not done it, but I'm trying.
You should find some materials that you have at home, even if it's not wood, and just construct it. It'd be neat too.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing like light, like different strokes of brown in it, so it looks like it brings the wooden like texture to life in it. I don't know. So I was just thinking about that. I don't know if you know, but like kind of gonna nerd out a little bit. But if you know Melanie Martinez, she has a song and it's like show and tell, and it talks about a puppet, and that's what kind of inspired me to just like paint that.
No, I guess I'm too old. I'll have to look it up.
But yeah, I don't know. That was just something I wanted to show since it was mentioned.
Maya, it's so good to see you again. I do want you to know, everybody, we have more opportunities for you to get to know everybody here at DCAD. Next week, we are going to be meeting with our president, Jean Dahlgren, who is also an artist, as well as Krista Rothwell, who is our assistant dean, also an artist. And then we're going to have another call, Randall, is that right, with our students? So you'll be able to meet some current DCAD students and chat with them. P.S. I'm not going to hand them any questions. It's all you. So it's an opportunity for them to get to know you and really kind of give you the whatever insights you need. And P.S. you're to make friends already. So that's what we have planned.
Okay.
Awesome. So, oh, cool. We have Kenny on the phone, or just joined. And Xavier, if you would like to chat, you're welcome to.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for joining us today. Did you have any questions for Tad or Rachel or any of us? Really, any?
Yes, I did. A few questions for Tad, mostly. I just wanted to know what like animation program or programs we would be using.
Yes, you're using the Adobe Creative Suite, so you'll be using almost everything in there. Well, a lot of programs. For example, Premiere, After Effects, Animate, Photoshop, Illustrator. Those are 5. And actually, for you too, Maya, you just might get used to using things like that. So I mean, they're helpful tools for you to be an artist. You do have access to them here on campus. I don't know if we're going virtual in the fall. I don't know. I think we're trying to work that out right now to see that you have access to all of those programs, because both of you would be having the same sort of. There's like kind of like a tech-based class called 4D, 4-dimensional design, which you will start to use these programs. Also specific to our program, Xavier, Autodesk Maya and Mudbox, which is a plugin within Maya. With your .edu student address email, you get a 3-year license with that, a free license, which is pretty cool. And then I have to make sure it works for us, but there might be a program called Toon Boom. Harmony is the specific program that we would use from that company, and that is for 2D animation. So there's sort of like a hodgepodge of things. Also, if you're really curious, I'm going to also use something called Dragon Frame, which is a stop-motion animation software. It takes your photographs and puts them in sequence so you can make a movie. So lots of software. Get used to it.
Okay, I just wanted to ask because I was like maybe planning on like trying to like get a bit of practice in with them before I started, and I I was getting really scared, but I'm glad you said like Toon Boom at the end, because I actually like bought a subscription for that.
Excellent. Well, then I would stick with that. I was going to start writing down free programs. Actually, the only programs that are really good are sort of digital imaging, like Photoshop. You know, you draw into the program, and there's workarounds to make animation, but it's really clunky. But they have nice brushes. But anyways, stick with Toon Boom if you've got a subscription. Do it. And Maya, you should try it out too. Actually, Maya, do you have an iPad? I'm just curious.
I do
Maya
not. I don't have an iPad. Yeah, but I have worked using Toon Boom before for a personal finance class, because we had to make an animation of like, well, actually it was personal business and law. We had to like make an accident scene kind of, and then like animate 2 people and like describe a debate back and forth and like saying whose fault it is to blame if they get in front of a judge and stuff. That was really fun. I liked using it.
and Xavier, did you have any more questions? You got software.
You answered my other one, like one talking about the software. So I don't think I have any more.
Cool. And I see that. I think you're confirmed for the fall as well, right?
Yes, I submitted like, you know, the money and stuff to join.
Well, good. Well, we'll see you somehow in the fall. That's really
And
cool.
do we have, does Kenny, do you have any questions before we wrap this up for the day? Anybody else?
I can't think of any. I'll work with the programs that I'm going to be given.
Kenny, what is your last name?
Oh, Bolden.
And your animation, seeking animation?
Yeah.
That's- Okay. Will I see you in the fall too? Will Xavier and I see you?
Yeah, you will.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm really excited. The only animation software I've actually ever used is Fire Alpaca.
That's one of the free programs out there. FileAlpaca, there's Krita, there's there's Paint. Paint Studio. I can't remember the name. It's like 3 words put together. Anyways,
Paint Tool Sci.
that's it. Paint Tool Sci. I only know this because all the students find these workarounds. They find the free stuff. They tell me about it. And then I see the program over their shoulder. Looks pretty good. I wanted to, and Maya, this is for you too. Do you guys have iPhones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maya, iPhone? Xavier, iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I want you to look this up. They have a free version, but they also have a $5 version too. The free version of OSnap, OSnap with an exclamation point. It's an app, stop motion app, and you can just take your smartphone and do this, and it makes things into a movie. There's tons of programs out there like it, but I really like this one because of the function. You can like see the frames you had before and the frames that you want, photos you took afterwards. You can kind of see, it's really cool. But I would play around with that all summer. I'm going to ask Xavier and Kenny to definitely do it. And Maya, it might get you thinking differently. And then maybe I'll see you in my program in the fall.
Hey. I was going to say too, for everybody, that you could do a drawing a day from life to practice observational drawing, whether the figure or your backyard, or if we're still in social distancing or quarantine, things in your house. You don't have to worry about finish, just the joy of making and drawing. And it could be very simple materials, but on that end of it with OSnap, you could do observational drawing, take an image, move it, take another image, and actually make an animation with your drawings from life too. So many possibilities here for fun.
So isn't that great? Everybody just got some homework for the summer. No, it just is important to really make the most of your time, and just keep excited. We're thrilled to have you, and it'll be a joy really to see your work and evolution as an artist and designer. And again, don't hesitate, reach out to us if you have other questions, or if you want to meet one-on-one with really any member of our faculty or staff. We're all here to support you and cannot wait to really get to know you and your work this fall. So having said that, I'm going to sign off, and thank you all for joining us today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Excited to see you guys on campus or virtually, whatever we do, but I'm really excited to get started with you all.
Stay safe.